Well, I wasn't quite expecting to see cactus in the south of France, or indeed 36-degree heat in October. But I'm sure you guys have been waiting for us to bring you news of the all-new production GasGas ECC 4, 5 and 6. Today, all the details from the Côte d'Azur. Right, let's get things rolling. Now, as I mentioned, there are 3 bikes in the range, the ECC 4, 5 and 6. And each of them have got their own highlights. For example, SRAM Powertrain, which was launched recently. DVO suspension, and get this, powered by a WP suspension package. All the frames are full carbon fibre and size-specific rear swinging arms. Wow, this bike really is quite unique. Now, it's actually been designed and engineered by a company called Cushy on behalf of GasGas. I'm sure you'll agree that the design and balance of this bike really is quite striking. When you first get on the bike, it's those shrouds which really do grab your attention. It's really got a moto feel about it. At the same time, it helps protect the frame, and remember, it'll enable you to refresh the bike with some new plastics in the future. I think the great thing about this armour technology, the first thing is it's super light, and also it will enable you to have a mindset to go flat out on a ride, you know, big rocky places like this, without fear of damaging your frame. What I also like is the bash plate. I mean, how many e-bikes do you see in the market with no bash plate on there? So there's really good separation from the bash plate to the motor there. So I think that and the armour are 2 really neat touches. Right, hope you don't mind. I'm going to machine gun you with some facts and figures very quickly about the bike. Suspension, first of all, 160mm rear, 170mm up front. Wheel size 29 front and rear. Got full coil suspension on all the models. Remember, I'm going to talk about the WP in detail a little bit later on. And 4 sizes, small to medium, medium large and large extra large. On the subject of the sizes, the reach numbers are 450 for the smallest size, the middle size is 475, the largest bike is 500mm reach. Size-specific chainstays, which I mentioned. So we've got a 461 for the small size, 465 for the medium size, and 469 for the largest bike in the range there. Head tube angle is 64 degrees, the seat tube angle is 75 degrees, and there's a minus 31.5 drop on the bottom bracket. So highly likely this bike is going to be a rocket ship around corners. Now, on some of the other models, when you look at the SRAM Powertrain system, which comes on the higher models, that's going to comprise of the Eagle transmission. That allows you to access the auto shift and coast shift features. Now, auto shift is as a means of keeping you in the right gear, which is based on cadence. Also, you've got coast shift, which means that you can actually change gear whilst coasting, or indeed it actually does it for you. So for example, if you're coming into a tight switchback, it'll get you into that easier gear so you can exit quicker. When you've got one of the bikes which have got auto shift and coast shift, you can access the fine tuning of that via the pods on the handlebar. As you can see, there's only a left-hand side pod on this bike. And like I said, you can actually fine-tune it to get the bike to kind of shift when you want it to, or indeed you can have it in manual mode as well. 600 watt-hour battery in the bike, 250 watt-hour range extender if you need to. And I think you'll agree, the system, it's a very, very sleek system. And what I did notice actually when I climbed up the hill for the first time was how quiet that motor is. Now, one aspect of the ECC range of bikes which I am super excited about is the WP suspension, which has been created in collaboration with DVO. Now, coming from a motorcycle background, WP are the absolute wizards when it comes to motocross. So having suspension such as this on an e-mountain bike is really exciting. Central to the technology is actually the base valve with cone valve technology. We're talking fork and shock in the system, remember. So in terms of the adjustments, you get high and low speed compression and rebound. On the fork, it's 38mm stanchions. And yeah, what's inside both the fork and the shock is the same philosophy of moving all around the damping circuit. The cone valve is well-proven technology. It's been well used in moto. And also, you might have noticed this year that the GasGas MotorX team have been using the fork and the shock at the eMTB World Cup Series. So what's cone valve? Well, it's basically an inner chamber fitted inside DVO hardware. It functions like a blow-off valve on the hard impacts. Now this allows you to ride higher in the fork and also in the shock. So in reality, no weight transfer, no weight shifts forward or rearwards to try and compensate for this out on the trail. So what we're saying is that when the fork dives, the cone valve closes exponentially to increase the damping. Basically, improves your body position and reduces fatigue. I really like 170, 160mm traveler with 29-inch wheels. It's fantastic for tearing down really nasty terrain. Quiet motor, quiet frame in general actually, thanks to some very neat features. Do you know what? I think more brands should do the size specific chainstay. I mean, I'm just doing some little techie climbs up there. It just keeps your body planted in just the right position on the bike. So yeah, I think it's a great feature. I think it's really cool to be able to look down on the top tube there. It's quite refreshing. It's definitely got a very different feel to this bike to, well, any other eMTB on the market. And you know what? I love some of the little detail, such as your race, my party. It says it all, doesn't it, really?